Good day, Dr. Craig. Good day to the panelists, the chairman, and the members of the panelists. Good day, everyone. Today, we are going to present to you our research proposal entitled The Extent of Parents' Involvement and Participation on the Modular Learning of Government Preschools in the Rural Hinterland Areas of Himalalud during this pandemic. The researchers are Ma'am Stephanie G. Quipit and yours truly, Daphna F. K. The novel coronavirus disease, or the COVID-19 pandemic, which has already infected 183 million people in 222 countries, has resulted in more than 3 million deaths worldwide and has wreaked chaos around the globe. The crisis has already transformed into an economic and labor market shock. We are only beginning to understand the economic impacts of COVID-19, but many other issues have emerged and need to be urgently addressed, like the closure of schools and its impact on learning and the burden of education on students, parents, and teachers. Most governments around the world have temporarily closed educational institutions in an endeavor to contain the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Schools are hubs of social activity and human interaction. When schools close, many children and youth miss out on social contact that is essential to learning and development. This is according to Union 2020. The implementation of distance learning for the early childhood education level and kindergarten cannot be carried out independently by children without the assistance of parents. Early childhood requires direct involvement of parents as companions and guides to participate in a series of distance learning. Parents are expected to be able to guide children to learn from home and replace the role of teachers at school. As much as these initiatives are found to be appropriate to address the need of the time, it has also given a tough routine to parents who are working from home and simultaneously taking the responsibility that their children's learning process continues seamlessly during the times of COVID-19. Current conditions in the field indicate that distance learning, which is carried out at home with the guidance of parents, encounters several obstacles, such as the parents' lack of understanding of the material, difficulties in the growing interest and motivation to teach the child, limited time to accompany the child to learn because they have to work, lack of patience in teaching children at home, lack of facilities, and the difficulty of using gadget and internet connection services. This raises a saturation and the desire of parents to the institution to immediately conduct face-to-face meetings at school as usual. Hence, the purpose of the study is to know the extent of parental involvement and participation in their children's modular learning during this pandemic.
Good day, my name is Stephanie Quipit and I will go over the statement of the problem. Our study will assess the extent of parental involvement and participation in the modular learning of the government preschools in the rural areas of Himalalud Negros Oriental. Specifically, our study will seek answers to the following questions. Number 1. What are the factors affecting parental involvement in their children's modular learning? In terms of 1.1, age, whether the attending parent is young or old. 1.2, gender, whether the parent is a female or a male parent. 1.3, marital status, whether the parent is single, happily married, separated, or widowed. 1.4, educational background, whether the parent has undergone formal schooling or not. 1.5, occupation, whether the parent is a full-time worker, a part-time worker, or a stay-at-home parent. And 1.6, financial income. Question number 2. What is the extent of parental involvement in terms of 2.1, receiving and returning the modules? 2.2, assisting their children's modular learning. Question number 3, is there a significant difference in the performance of the students from different groups of parents? Question number 4, what action plan can be drawn from the results of the study?
Our conceptual framework shows that the parents are the source of information and the facilitator, while their children are the learners or the information receiver of the modular instruction. So the modular instruction should be an appropriate motivation, good communication, and performance feedback. Theoretical background. Several researchers have established or created theories as to what parental involvement encompasses. In 1976, Gordon and Brividel created their theoretical model that they reference as a parent impact model. They stated that this model consisted of involving parents directly in the education of their children. In 1979, Gordon found that the parent impact model resulted in significant changes in children's academic achievement. This was found when the programs to reinforce what was taught in school were carefully planned and have parents working in the home setting with their children. The most popular theory of parental involvement in the literature has been Epstein's theory of parental involvement. Epstein suggests that parental involvement is characterized by parenting, communication, learning at home, volunteering, and/or attending meetings at the school to help or support decision-making and community connections. Christensen's theory of parental involvement was defined by consisting of one-way communication and stated that two-way communication is characteristic of home-school collaboration. Our chosen theoretical framework provided a powerful way to consider how each of these changes allowed for a unique type of parental engagement during COVID-19 emergency remote instruction. Understood as parents' mediation of space, example, the home and online, and capital, example is the human, social, and material resources and supports in relation to others in school settings, example, the teachers. So in our theoretical framework, it shows that the school and the community shows or supports the parents and the parents to the learners. In our review of related literature, from the time of the outbreak of the coronavirus disease 2019 or the COVID-19, people have been impacted in one way or the other. Countrywide lockdowns have strongly impacted the lives of people of all occupation and all ages. The lockdowns have put an unprecedented challenge on the governments to ensure that there should be continuity of learning, according to Chang and Liano, 2020. Several countries have adopted different measures to deal with the educational crisis. Within the new normal, the situation presents a unique challenge to every educational leader's decision-making process. Hence, to sustain the delivery of quality of instruction to every school, this article presents opportunities for responding issues, problems, and trends that are arising due to COVID-19 pandemic. To combat the problems of the outbreak, such as that of the education system, the educational ministries and other stakeholders have taken a stand at national levels. In order to ensure children's learning continues, a collaboration between the telecom industry, school networks at different levels, and the education ministry is needed, according to UNESCO 2020. Governments have been launching, example, the Saudi Arabia and the UAE. They have been launching awareness campaigns on distance learning for parents, teachers, administrators, and students. This is according to Chang and Liano 2020. The implementation of an education system at the national level in response of coronavirus outbreak and schools being closed can be supplemented with a curriculum that involves parental guidance and COVID-19 related awareness. This would help in improving the education systems at large and reassure learning attainment in home settings. Such programs can also yield benefits in students' autonomous learning development to get a sense of responsibility towards self-growth and development.
This study employs a descriptive research designed to determine the extent of parents' involvement and participation in the modular learning of their children during this time of pandemic. According to Calderon in 2012, descriptive research may be defined as a purposive process of gathering, collecting, and tabulating data from prevailing conditions, beliefs, trends, cause and effect relationships, and then making adequate and accurate interpretations of such data with or without the use of statistical methods. A survey questionnaire will be used to collect data from the respondents to gain information about their involvement and participation with regards to the modular learning of their children. The questionnaire is composed of questions to determine the factors that affect the involvement of parents in the modular learning of their children and to find out the extent of their participation on the distribution, retrieval, as well as the assistance of their children's modular learning. The study will be conducted at 4 public elementary schools at the District of Himalalud, Division of Negros Oriental. The 4 schools are Apanagon Elementary School, Agotayon Elementary School, Kangharay Elementary School, and Lacaon Elementary School. The participants of the study are 35 parents coming from the 4 public elementary schools that we have chosen. 6 of them are coming from Agotayon Elementary School, 8 are from Apanangon Elementary School, 10 parents are from Kangharay Elementary School, and 11 parents are coming from Lacaon Elementary School. Before the data collection, the researchers will write letters addressed to the school heads of the 4 elementary schools to ask their permission to conduct a study at their schools. Also, the researchers will write letters addressed to the participants of the study to ask their permission and their participation to answer the survey questionnaires. Once approved, the researchers will hand over the survey questionnaires to the respondents and will collect them afterwards. The data that will be gathered and will be collected from the questionnaires will be tabulated on Microsoft Excel and will be analyzed and interpreted with the help of a statistician. The data to be gathered will be tabulated with accuracy and consistency to interpret results. Descriptive statistics will be used to summarize the extent of parents' participation in the modular learning of their children. The following statistical tools will be used in the study. Number 1, to determine the profile data of the respondents, the simple percentage formula will be employed. P is equal to F over N times 100, where P is the percentage, F is the frequency of responses, and N is the number of responses. Number 2, to find out the assessment level of the respondent, the weighted mean formula will be utilized. The formula for the weighted mean, the summation F is the frequency of responses. X is the weight or the value of a particular response. And N is the total number of respondents. Number 3, the interpretation table will be used for extent of participation and involvement. Range of 4.4 to 5, very great extent. Range of 3.5 to 4.3, great extent. Range of 2.5 to 3.4, moderate extent. Range of 1.5 to 2.4, limited extent. And last, range of 1 to 1.4, very limited extent. This study would be of great benefit to the parents, the teachers, the community partners, and most of all, the learners. Through the results of this study, the parents would be able to gather ideas on how they can manage and teach their children during this pandemic, as they are highly involved in the learning process of their children. For the teachers, the results of this study will give them ideas on how they can guide the parents on the modular learning of their children. The community partners are our strong link in achieving educational goals. Through this study, they will be able to see entry points in helping the education sector fulfill their duties in this time of pandemic. Lastly, our learners. Through this study, holistic benefits in the developmental areas will be achieved by the learners during this time of pandemic. The terms used in these research endeavors are conceptually and operationally defined. Modular learning refers to the distance delivery of learning during the pandemic through the use of self-learning modules. Modules refers to the learning materials used during the pandemic. Module distribution refers to the process where parents receive the module in the school. Module retrieval refers to the process where parents return the modules with their answered notebooks to the school. This has been Stephanie Quipit.
Daphna F. Hill.
Thank you so much for listening.